Good morning, everyone. Happy President's Day. A lot of you have the day off. I do not. But it's a busy Monday. I have some thoughts on the NBA All-Star Game. I have some thoughts on what it really means for guys like us. And there's a player that the Arizona Cardinals just have to sign. By all extensive measures, it has to happen. So with that being said, let's jump into all of it. I'll see you guys in a couple of seconds.
The Ben Garcia Show. Yeah. Woo. Best show in the land. Yup. Listen. Come and get your information from Ben Garcia. Get the latest on your quarterback, running backs, and receivers. Tune in, so any other show you don't need them. Any news that he giving out, please just believe him. Giving out the latest prediction and top-notch analysis. Wanna hear the truth, better have thick skin like calluses. The latest move that your team just made can be damaging. The dudes ain't speaking no facts, they just be rambling. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. Yeah. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. The Ben Garcia Show.
What is up, guys? Welcome into yet another edition of the Ben Garcia Show. I had my camera turned off there for just a brief second, but heck, it's a President's Day. It's supposed to be a 3-day work week for most people, not for me. A very special edition of the Ben Garcia Show. So I ask that you like, share, subscribe, and you say why. What makes it so special? What makes you so great? Well, guess what, buddy? Guess what, wise guy? It's my birthday today. Oh, yeah. 27 years young. Celebrating it on the same day as that being one Michael Jordan. That was something as a kid that I always was stoked for, excited for, because I felt like I was special. Because me and the GOAT to a lot of people, no big deal. Just share the same birthday. No big deal. So either way, I'm going to ask very kindly that you treat me well. I'm very sensitive on days like today. I also ask that you like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. But yeah, I appreciate you guys in the chat. My guy Michael, Ivan. I say it more tongue-in-cheek, guys. I'm really not a big birthday guy at all. I just always find it funny, especially at 27 years old, right? I'm 27. 27. Like, whatever. It's just, it's whatever at the end of the day. I still have to work today, still have to get things done. But I just thought it'd be fun to share that, document that. But either way, guys, let's jump right into it. One reason why the NBA All-Star Game is nostalgic and kind of a sweet feeling for me is because I had I won't ever get into it on this show because one, no one cares. And two, everyone has their own cross that they're bearing every single day. So I'm not anything special. But the NBA All-Star Game, my childhood was, I just seen this in the chat. Ivan, thank you. Happy Monday, 199 super chat. I appreciate you. I will never forget to read those and tell people it is a happy Monday. But anyway, sorry. Jump into it here. The NBA All-Star Game is pretty special to me. I love the All-Star Game. And, again, I'll never get into this, but my childhood was fairly turbulent at times. It wasn't exactly the easiest thing to get a hold of. And that's one of the reasons why I actually can't stand my birthday in a lot of ways. I'm not a huge fan of it. But either way, I have always loved watching it because my birthday always fell on the NBA All-Star weekend. And it was fun for me. I had something to watch every single time. It was the skills competition or the three-point competition or the dunk competition. One of my best childhood memories as a kid, and there's not a ton of them, is the 2005 Denver All-Star weekend where the Phoenix Suns are winning the three-point shootout. Quentin Richardson and Nash is winning the skills competition, and Amari Stoudemire comes in second in the slam dunk competition, and Nash was starting in that All-Star game. Like, it all just meant more, and it was fun for me. It's nostalgic. I was telling Brendan last night on the Locked On Phoenix Suns podcast that it was great. I used to go out on my birthday with my family every so often, go out to a dinner, and the game would be on too. Like, it'd be fun. I really enjoyed that little secret tradition I had. And so growing up, I still don't miss the All-Star game. I watch it every year. It's a little nostalgic for me, whether it's the skills competition, dunk, three-point, whatever it is, All-Star game as a whole. I really enjoy it. It's fun for me. It's a good time. But recently, it just feels like the players in the NBA are taking us fans for granted. It just, and this is the show you do post All-Star break, kind of All-Star break, because there's still a couple of days left during the NBA season because there's no NFL. The NBA didn't play any meaningful games, so everyone's going to be doing this topic on Get Up, on Fox, everyone. And for me, it's just interesting because I feel like I have a really good opinion on this topic. Don't take me for granted. Just don't, because I will go find uses for my time elsewhere. And it didn't just make me think about the NBA All-Star game as a whole and all these different things going on with the All-Star game as a whole. It's just frustrating to have to watch guys like Chris Paul and Victor Wembanyama not take the skills competition seriously. And I have seen some people say, I have seen some people say at times, well, the NBA All-Star game, okay, that's fine. Victor Wembanyama and Chris Paul were just taking it potentially even more seriously than they should have. No one ever got into the Hall of Fame because they won a skills competition. No one there paid money because they wanted to watch you cheat the system of the skills competition. It's just lame. It's just boring. It's not fun to watch. It's not appealing to the beholden person having a perspective on this. That was lame. LeBron James playing in or being a late scratch because of ankle soreness, and Anthony Edwards being a late scratch because of groin soreness, that's fine. You can't play. Give it to someone else, because all you did was just get me pissed off. And you'd still get an all-star selection. I'm sure they'd still let LeBron sit on the bench. But what's frustrating is for guys like me, who were kind of hoping Devin Booker would get in, even though you can argue very easily he just didn't deserve it. He just didn't deserve it compared to all the other guys on there. It would have been fun for me to be able to watch Booker in that game and Kevin Durant and just give me more things. More things to watch at a certain time. So, just taking fans for granted. And what's even more frustrating is I am not a hockey guy at all. I don't watch any hockey. I have no interest in hockey until this weekend showed up. And I think it's because hockey players don't get paid as much. They're looked down upon because the NBA is so much bigger. The MLB is so much bigger. But this weekend, watching a little bit, I didn't watch a ton, a brief amount of the Four Nations, and USA and Canada are going at it in an exhibition game that doesn't matter for anything but pride. And because they're wearing a country across their chest, they're willing to fight and get hurt in the first minute. That's how much it matters to them. And it's frustrating when you watch the NHL playing in a game that doesn't matter. They're not winning a medal in the Olympics. It just gets really old after a while. And they go in there, and Connor McDavid, after losing to USA, says the next game feels like a Game 7. An exhibition game feels like a Game 7. And, I've seen the argument of like, well, listen, the game doesn't matter. They don't make that much more money for winning in the All-Star game. Whatever, all these different things. I shouldn't have to bribe you to play well in an All-Star game. How about just play well because I'm a fan of the games? And this is just where the NBA becomes a little fundamentally broken. It's all about me, 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 me. And it's just, Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron, they should all be somewhat ashamed. Those guys are the three horsemen of this league. And I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. In fact, that'd be more willing to say that the All-Star game's cooked. Because it's frustrating when Victor Wembanyama, who's out there actually trying to play and get teams excited to play, and he's getting frustrated because Şengün is letting a guy slip behind him backdoor for the game-winning bucket. And so if you're Wembanyama, you're just like, well, then why am I here playing? Like, why do I care? And I turned on that game last night, and dudes are just running past each other on defense. Just an incredibly boring game to watch. Very boring. And for years, it was 200 to 200 scores. It's fundamentally broken. And it leads me to think of this. I wonder how much the NBA is prepared for a LeBron James-less and Kevin Durant-less and Steph Curry-less NBA. I see Ivan in the chat. I think a USA versus World with each player wearing where they're from across the front. Yeah, it's great. The only problem is try to find a team that you can compose of 12 world players. It's just too hard. And the USA side, it's not super easy either. So a Team World versus Team USA would just be kind of hard to do. But either way, I have become really concerned with the NBA and its longevity in the future. I worry about a league without LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant. We still continue to put these players in the biggest spots, in the biggest position, in the biggest moments during the season. I think the NBA does a horrific job catering to their new stars. Victor Wembanyama, Luka Doncic, Anthony Edwards. I think they're still guinea pigging off the back of the greatness of these three players. And part of this All-Star game is an ability to market those young players. And I have LeBron James sitting out and Kevin Durant playing like 6 minutes in the final game because they're tired or they have soreness. Then don't play. Give your position up for someone else because you shouldn't be able to have it both ways. And it just leads me to think, I worry sometimes about the NBA. I don't think they have the next face of the NBA right now. I think it's just LeBron. LeBron James is the face of the NBA. Steph Curry, probably number 2. Kevin Durant, probably 3 or 4. Probably 3, though. All those guys are going to be gone soon. And once LeBron James leaves, who takes the throne of the face of the NBA? Is it Anthony Edwards? He doesn't have any rings. Is it Victor Wembanyama? Maybe, but he's not American, and it's hard for some reason for NBA fans to get their arms around those guys. I don't think he has a very big personality. He doesn't play at all like a traditional big man. Is it Luka? Well, I don't know. He's a Laker. That could cause some issues for concern because people don't love the Lakers. He kind of complains a lot. He's not physical. Is it Anthony Edwards? I don't know. No real championship success. I just wonder, with this next era of the NBA, how well the NBA is going to do. So, if you wanted my thoughts on that, that's what it is. I think you combined a all-star game that was lackluster and not fun to watch once again, where I don't blame people for not watching, and a league that is soon shifting towards a LeBron, Steph, and Kevin Durant-less NBA. I wonder about its longevity. I don't think the NBA is going to go belly up, but the NBA lost a third of its viewership when Michael Jordan retired. Is it possible that in some way it kind of just blows up in their faces because they didn't take enough time to cater to those stars, the new up-and-coming stars? Really makes you think. I don't think anyone is ready to take the baton when LeBron James leaves. Because at that point, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry will be very old. And they're almost out the door too. And I think the NBA has done a horrible job. And you look at this All-Star game as an example of marketing their new stars. Who's the face of the NBA when LeBron James is gone? And that's a big deal. Every league needs the face of something. NFL, Patrick Mahomes. MLB, Shohei Ohtani. NBA, when LeBron James retires, who is it? Who is it? And when I see LeBron sitting out of all-star games and not allowing someone else to go and give the NBA a chance to market their stars, Anthony Edwards as well, it's not likable. Victor Wembanyama, I don't think can be that guy. He doesn't have the personality for it. For some reason, NBA fans don't cling to their USA basketball players or players that are international and not USA basketball players. They don't cling to those guys as well. I don't agree with it, but they don't. Luka Doncic as well. A player that doesn't necessarily take things seriously all the time, goes after refs. He's a Laker. He's not super physical. And Anthony Edwards talks about not wanting to miss games, will play if he's hurt, and then he's missing the All-Star game. And at times can be a little unlikable. I worry about the NBA once LeBron James retires, once Kevin Durant and Steph Curry are gone. There is no clear face of the NBA, and there is no clear direction of where this league is going to go. And I think just like how Michael Jordan, the NBA lost a third of its viewership was gone when Michael Jordan retired. I think when LeBron James retires, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, there's a chance that there could be a similar decrease in ratings. Because people still watch because of those players. So, I would say it's very worrisome, at least a little bit, for the NBA's future. It's a bit murky, and I think they need to do a much better job on figuring out who that guy is going to be to carry the torch and carry the mantle on their way to a next decade and a half of relevancy. Because LeBron, Steph, and KD, they've been here for 15 plus years, and they're not going to be here much longer. Okay, I spent way too much time on that topic, but believe it or not, I'm actually kind of passionate about it. I wonder exactly how it could go. Also, Nacho, thank you in the chat. We are asking on today's show for liking, sharing, and subscribing, and follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show as just a token of your appreciation today. I kid, but also follow me. Anyways, there is one guy that the Arizona Cardinals have to sign. There is no excuse. There is no reason for believing it shouldn't be the case. The Arizona Cardinals have the cap space for a player that should be on this team next season. There are some key must-sign free agents in the NFL landscape this year. But before I get into who the Arizona Cardinals have to sign, you can look at the screen. It's actually fairly obvious at this point. But let's talk about this really quickly. A lot of times fans get upset at Monti Ossenfort for not going all in on free agency last year. Well, lucky for you, I did a little bit of research. I tend to do that on this show. This is why I have always been a key proponent of, okay, let's relax a little bit on free agency. It's fool's gold. Do you know who the number one free agent was last year, according to NFL.com? Kirk Cousins. Do you know who the number 2 free agent was last year? Christian Wilkins. NFL free agency is fool's gold. Just because you spend a lot of money doesn't necessarily mean it's going to result in immediate success. Sometimes it can help in the short term, but it should be supplemental and very carefully eyeing 1 or 2 players that can help you, and then trying to go bargain bin shopping, saving your money, and using the money left over that you have to pay your own very good players. But look at NFL free agency. The number 1 free agent last year, according to NFL.com, Kirk Cousins. Number 2, Christian Wilkins. Number 4, Tyrone Smith. Guys like Jonathan Greenard are on here, Saquon Barkley, Danielle Hunter. Sure, good players. But then let's go to Calvin Ridley at 7. And Chauncey Gardner-Johnson at 10, who was not a difference maker for that Eagles team. Bryce Huff, who had 2.5 sacks last year, number 11. Mike Williams, number 12 for the Jets. Kendall Fuller wasn't amazing for the Dolphins this year. Marquise Hollywood Brown, number 15. Free agency is fool's gold. And it's why I say that the Arizona Cardinals have to more so look into the trading market. They got to go get a guy like a Myles Garrett, like a Micah Parsons, like a Max Crosby. And in free agency, I think it is okay to do calculated risks instead of just being uberly aggressive. A calculated risk is T. Higgins. Go get him. You have the money for it. Marvin Harrison Jr. is on a cheap deal. By the time he gets a new one, he's gone. But a calculated risk, something that you have to do, be willing to get burned on, be willing to spend a bunch of money and get screwed over. Trey Smith, the Kansas City Chiefs guard. The Arizona Cardinals have a fine offensive line. Yoda Froholt, Paris Johnson Jr., Jonah Williams. We'll see how he does again next year. Potentially maybe not even on here. But you have 3 solid offensive linemen on this team. Paris Johnson Jr., Will Hernandez, who you got to bring back, and Yoda Froholt. You add another calculated risk, be willing to get burned on this deal, a winner in Trey Smith to come play guard for the Arizona Cardinals. You bolster that offensive line even further. You help out your young quarterback, well, young-ish. You help out your young-ish quarterback in Kyler Murray. You make the running lanes easier for James Conner. Everything opens up when the offensive line is better. I will be willing to say, unless Trey Smith just gets a insane, gaudy, awful contract, ridiculous contract, if he doesn't get signed by the Arizona Cardinals, that will be a failure of an offseason. They just simply need that guy. They need to bolster up this offensive line, as well as the defensive line. The Arizona Cardinals offensive line was good last year. It could be even better. And then at that point, once you get Trey Smith, you just need a right tackle potentially. And then you have one of the best young offensive lines in the NFL. And Will Hernandez, Yoda Froholt, Trey Smith, and Paris Johnson Jr. That is up there with one of the better offensive lines. Kyler Murray has time in the pocket. James Conner is able to find rushing lanes. But those are the calculated risks I'm willing to watch the Arizona Cardinals go after. What I'm not willing to let them do is do what the Jacksonville Jaguars have done and the New England Patriots have done, and is just spend a ton of money in free agency just because you have the money. I'd rather you spend a bag on one dude and go bargain bin shopping for everyone else. I like the idea of going after a T. Higgins. I think it might be fun, and you have the money for it. You're not paying Marvin Harrison Jr. anything. Kyler Murray's already paid. But even more so than that, you got to go get Trey Smith. You got to outbid these other teams. You got to bolster your offensive line. You got to make it to where your offensive line is one of the best in the NFL. Give Kyler Murray no reason to not succeed. Give him another weapon in a good offensive line that will keep him upright all year long. That's where I'm at on it. Listen, you can go after any guy you want. Have fun with it. But the number one free agent target has to be Trey Smith. Do not let the Kansas City Chiefs bring him back. Outbid everyone else. Bolster this team. Last year, the defense wasn't the problem for the Cardinals. The reason why they didn't succeed was the offense. And you could say Kyler's getting pressure up the middle. What helps with that? A really good guard. King Nacho in the chat, Murray needs the O-line to be good. I'd argue Murray might need even more than that. But what did we just see with the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl? You got to load it up. Make everything awesome. For if a quarterback who doesn't make top 10 money is going to get to the Super Bowl, or at least just at the end at top 10 money, how are you going to win a Super Bowl? You got to bolster everything. And the offensive line is a key proponent of that. So, Arizona Cardinals got to be very aggressive in going and getting Trey Smith. It will be a failure of an offseason if they don't get him and bring him onto the team. That is an easy plug-and-play guy that can fix a lot of your issues instantly. So, appreciate you guys tuning in for a Monday birthday edition of the Ben Garcia Show. As you can tell, I am just ecstatic. I mean, man, we're going to be partying all night. I don't, I'd say tongue-in-cheek, but, got to go to work all day today. Oh, I love that Ivan opens up the lanes for Scatabo and JC 100%. All on board with Cam Scataboo. Appreciate you guys making me a part of your day. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend about the Ben Garcia Show. Listen, I'm not asking for gifts. I'm not asking for anything else, right? I only want free things. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Social. Appreciate you guys making me a part of your day. I'm going to go head to work now, and I don't know, maybe go get a coffee. So appreciate you guys. I will talk to you guys soon. See you guys tomorrow, Tuesday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 a.m. local time. Appreciate you guys making me a part of your day. I'm Benjamin Garcia, and it's been the Ben Garcia Show. See you guys tomorrow.